Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Gamescast. Today, and only today, we have returned with the round table of, what are we, the Eggman Council of Sonic?
Yes.
I
forgot about that.
I know, yeah. But yeah, back with the boys here. I figured, look, I did that video where it was, Sonic 2023 in review, and I thought, to talk about the future of Sonic, I would bring in the boys. Of course, we have Mr. Sam here. Hello, Sam.
Hello, how you guys doing?
We're good. We're
held here against my will.
Of course you are. You canceled me on Twitter today. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
I did do that. I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
About that.
Yeah, I did.
All right, man.
It was like you were quoting a tweet about someone saying loops are useless, and I was just saying like, yeah, I mean they are useless. Like, it's fun. And then some people took it as like, you don't understand the deep complexities and importance of the loop in Sonic. How dare you? I'm like, man,
I did it as a joke. I said speed strats. That's a joke.
I know. And then people were like, well, you don't understand the inherent importance of loops in Sonic games. Insane. Of course, we have Mr. Chaomix. Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fidel Games Cage.
Yes, that's him. I like the Sonic sweater. Where'd you get that?
Thank you. I got it for Christmas. So
sick.
It's my first time wearing it too, so like I thought I'd break it out.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously with Sonic, there's a lot to talk about. We had a crazy year, so here's how this is gonna go. Everyone watching, we're gonna start this. We'll talk. I'll ask the guys how they felt about this year with Sonic, current state of Sonic, and then we'll go into the future of 2D, future of 3D, and future of media, and just give our thoughts on all that stuff. So let's start. Chaomix, how did you feel? Because this was like actually a psychotically crowded year for Sonic. So how do you feel about this year, current state of things, and everything?
Yeah, dude, I didn't think we were gonna get anything this year.
I know, yeah.
I thought they blew their load last year.
Yeah,
like we had Frontiers, we had Origins, we had Sonic Prime, we had Sonic Speed Sim. Yeah, and like I'm like, dude, there was so much Sonic in 2022.
And movie, right? It was a movie last year?
Right,
and the movie.
Yeah.
And the movie.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. So much last year. And then this year, like, I'm like, dude, well, like, I'm fine if we don't get anything this year. Like, we had a good year last year. That's fine. Like, it takes them another year or two to, like, get stuff rolling. I understand. But they came out swinging. Like, they had... What was the first thing? Was it Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog?
It was, like... It started with Frontiers DLC, then it was Murder of Sonic.
Frontiers DLC.
Origins Plus. Yeah, Origins Plus.
Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Superstars.
Symphony,
Dream Team. Oh, he died. Where did he go?
My camera.
Hey, yo!
Whoa, that looks looks like the Wii symbol, like that looks like a Wii.
He's dead.
He looks like he's on the eShop, man.
He died. That's crazy.
I can't believe it.
Yo, you said too much.
The murder.
Something that didn't come out yet. They killed you.
The murder of Chaomix.
I didn't know, but there was like a laser pointer on all of us.
I know.
It's scary.
What's happening? Oh, so you have it so it's connected from your phone to the computer. It happens. We're gonna see if he lives. Okay, while he fixes that, let's get Sam then. Oh no, X, you're back. Never mind. Continue your thought.
What was I saying? Yeah, Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, Superstars, and then Dream Team recently. That was like a super surprise. Yeah. They literally announced that at the last second. So like, even at the end of this year, when we had all the stuff, I'm like, man, what a good year. Then they like just dropped Dream Team. Like, okay.
You're going more.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
everything was good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sam, what about you? How'd you feel this year, everything?
I was the exact same way. I'm like, yo, it's all like, I understand. Like at this point, we're used to the cycle. Like, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a bit of a drought period. I was actually looking forward to the drought period because we had a lot of news in 2022. I'm like, yo, I'm ready to like take a break, do my own thing. 2023 was the biggest psych ever.
It really was.
It was ridiculous how much stuff we've had, and the fact that, like, even now, like, looking in 2024, it's like, what are we gonna get in 2024? It can't be much. We said the same thing last year, so we have no idea.
Because
we're for sure getting the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be the big one. Yeah.
But like,
who knows what else though?
My thoughts though, it's like, it's been great. It's been great. I think the DLCs have been great. I think Dream Team is great. I think Superstars for the most part was a W for the most part. I think there was a lot of good this year. The Symphony, I know personally for me as a creator, for obvious reasons, it was a huge highlight for me and for fans everywhere to celebrate Sonic music, which in person is just a dream. So
it's been crazy.
It's just been this, like, it's crazy, but I almost want to say 2023 was a better year for Sonic than 2022, which had Frontiers release. So it's like insane.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like if you think about it, yeah, I mean, like, this year was definitely more crowded. Because when I went into this year, I was like, this is gonna be like the dessert year, you know, like we're gonna get our Frontiers DLC, we'll get a bit more of Prime.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, and like I thought we were gonna get the Knuckles show originally, so I was like ready. This year was gonna be.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, this year's gonna be the dessert year. You know, we had the main course, we'll have some snacks too. I was like, we'll definitely get an Origins Plus, but for this year to be like Frontiers DLC, new Dream Team. Here's a random mobile game. Here's Murder of Sonic. Here's a brand new 2D game. Here's everything. It's like, oh my god, left, right, and up and down.
I almost think it's almost too much. Like I legit.
It definitely was a lot.
I almost think, like, what if Dream Team was like, move that to like the next quarter, and then like how are your investors, Sega? Like, how are you feeling? Because you're feeling confident right now.
And I think, though, this is like, I mean, obviously we're talking about the future, but I think this is what Sonic's kind of leaning into now. I almost think they want to make Sonic more like Mario, where like there's always something, you know, because there used to be, like, in the 2010 era, is like a drought era, you know, where there'd be like a year or two where like you're not getting anything. But I think with how many things they've got going on, whether it could be like a remaster, a new game, a side team, this or that, or a media piece, like I think the goal right now, especially if you look at their investor meetings and seeing that like Sonic is still on top, I think their goal is to have something Sonic related consistently every 2 to 3 months. And I think that's what they're headed towards with the series, right?
Yeah.
I think so, and it hasn't really felt like this since the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like also like we're kind of going back to that old mentality, which I know some people will be like, wait, hold on, wasn't that a bad thing?
Yeah.
But so far, though, it's been positive, it's been good, and as long as, you know, they properly give the resources they need to the developers. And I will say too, it's also, I would say it's probably a good thing for Sega themselves, considering the fact that, you know, workers right now are pushing for unionization, which we all want our workers, you know, to have the resources they need. Of course. But the other thing that I want to mention, though, is like even for the live stream team, they also moved to like a new office. So people in Cali, like they mentioned it in the live stream. So it's like clearly like Sega's doing good, and this is good for Sonic in general. And hey, I think that's great. It's good that they have more resources, less of budget title feeling stuff, less $40 titles. Let's get some full price Sonic games on the market and make them feel like a full price thing. Agree.
And I think, so like I said, I think we should boil this in categories, because I feel like I think there's a lot to say about each part of Sonic. So let's start with, I think, the more, you know, the simpler route, the future of 2D Sonic. Let's start. I feel like that's a good starting point. So like we said, we got Superstars. Before that, it had been a while. I mean, it was 6 years ago Mania came out. Holy shit. So it was a 6-year gap between 2D titles. And I think we're definitely in a weird place with 2D Sonic, where I think a lot of people want to see 2D. Like, I think people don't want 2D in the 3D games. I think there's some people that want classic Sonic to be more like Mania. I think people want games that are just better Superstars. And I think there's people that want modern 2D Sonic, right? And so we're in this weird place with 2D Sonic. I mean, what do you guys think would be coming next? What do you think makes the most sense? Who wants to go first? Chaomix,
yeah, the way they're doing it now is kind of nice, because it reminds me of the early 2000s again, which I think like Sonic has become super relevant within the past few years, kind of like he was in the early 2000s. So I think we're going to see a lot of parallels. And one of the parallels is just how they kind of like make the 2D games. They outsource them to third parties. So
you're right.
In this case, we have Arzest making Sonic Superstars.
Yeah. Which was terrifying.
You know, the first game, and it was good. I think it was okay. It could definitely be better, but like I enjoyed it, and I think like they definitely have potential. And if they keep making games, if they go on to make like a couple more Sonic games, they could be pretty good.
Do you think ours should be them?
Like the equivalent of the advanced series.
So you think ours should continue? Like you think they got the chops and they should like keep developing it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Nice. So you lean more on it being more like classic Sonic should be 2D?
I think so. I think having them separate is probably a good thing because you're totally right. Where like I think a lot of people who play the modern games, they want them to be strictly 3D.
Yeah.
So like keep the 3D in 3D, keep the 2D in 2D, just split them up, and like have outsource the 2D games, because like on a game development scale basis point of view, like they're a lot smaller scale than like the big open world games, so it would make sense to outsource those ones and then have Sonic Team develop like the actual 3D mainline modern games.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean I kind of agree with that in some way. It's like I feel like I think because there's definitely I think people oftentimes think about like especially Rush, like the having boost in 2D, right? And it's funny because people hate boost in 2D in the 3D games. So it's definitely this weird thing of like there's a certain audience that wants to see modern Sonic in 2D, but if it was only its own thing. But I do agree. I like classic Sonic keeping it 2D, but I would like more. I want it to be more. I mean, I hate to compare, but like more Mario Wonder-esque, where like we are guaranteed something like crazy creative and still pushes the 2D games forward. Because I feel like for me, Superstars was like, I like that we got cool new levels, but it was definitely like on the safe side, right? Like it was, here's your loops, here's your like level gimmick. You have I guess you have the emerald powers, but nothing really feels crazy, What do you think about that, Sam?
So I absolutely agree with all of you guys, with what you guys are saying here. I think, from a business standpoint, I think it would be in Sega's best interest to obviously put their don't put all your eggs in one basket. Obviously, like they used to, having two separate teams doing titles every other year. I think it helps keep the edge off the other team, gives them more time. Yeah. One of the examples I used to give back in the day, not now, but back in the day, was how Call of Duty used to do it. They would have an Infinity War and a Treyarch. They would have a modern title, then they would have a Black Ops title, then they would have, they would have
the 3 year, yeah.
Right. The only thing with Sonic right now is we don't have a second team that's set in stone, right? Because we had Evening Star, which did pretty damn good, and they're very talented people. You can see with their new game, they're still very talented. Evening Star, they haven't had the best track record, but Superstars wasn't a train wreck. It was still pretty good. So I definitely agree with Ryan. Like if Arsis were to have an opportunity again, I would think they would definitely improve. But I also think, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What if after Evening Star's title, they come back to Sonic for another try? I don't know. Right. But either way, point is now Evening Star also does 3D games now.
That's true.
But the point is now, though, like, I think outsourcing Sonic is not a bad idea, but the teams they outsource them to should be the same team, so that way they get familiar with the brand, and it's not a new team every single time. And I think the other thing regarding Superstars is just the gameplay aspect and how with Superstars it kind of feels like the main specialty of the game is we didn't mess it up.
Right. Yeah, I guess.
While Mania was like, yo, we added a new move called the drop dash, got some new stuff in here. Yeah. So it kind of feels like you mentioned, like Superstars is kind of safe,
right?
And I feel like for classic Sonic 2D, for if they were to continue it, and they should, it should try to add something new, something spicy, kind of like Mario Wonder. Have a mushroom that makes Sonic trip out. I don't know, something crazy.
Just give him the Wonder Flower specifically.
Yeah. Here's my thing now that I'm actually thinking about it more. I don't think that 2D should be strictly classic Sonic.
Okay.
I think if you're going to do a 3D modern Sonic game, keep 2D out of it. But if you're going to do a 2D game, I think modern Sonic could fit in a fully fledged 2D game, kind of like Advanced and Rush series. And the reason that I would almost prefer this over a classic Sonic game. So if you think about like all the classic Sonic games, right? Sonic has mostly the same moveset. He's got maybe the drop dash. That's like the new crazy move that they added. But like once they started to look past like, all right, this is what classic Sonic is, and like what can we make this and turn it into? And they took the Advanced series and they like iterated on top of it and fleshed, like Advanced 2 has like this insane moveset for every character.
Yeah.
And they something about that, they like kind of got out of the box of like, this is what classic Sonic is. They got out of that box and like they weren't afraid to experiment and like flesh out his moveset. But whenever they return to classic Sonic, I feel like they limit themselves. They're like, well, only modern Sonic can do this. Like classic Sonic can't do this yet. Yeah. But like, that's why I feel like a classic Sonic game, like they kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit.
Because I would almost
make it a modern Sonic game. Yeah, if you make it a modern Sonic game, you can do like air tricking, you can do boosting, bouncing, rail grinding. I know that classic Sonic can kind of do those a little bit, but like, dude, they can go ham and just give him like an entire 2D moveset that is like the equivalent of modern Sonic. It would be so cool.
The way I think about it too is like, I like the idea they had with Superstars regarding the Emerald power, each Emerald having a different power. I'm okay with that being like a classic main state going forward. I think a really cool idea would be like for like the next game or to really push the envelope is to like maybe each Emerald power gives you a power that you would have in like Advanced or Rush.
Right, like a permanence.
Yeah, and it kind of really expands the play set at that point, because I replayed the Advanced games recently. I didn't get back to Advanced 3 quite yet. I played it obviously, but not on the channel. I haven't revisited it yet. But so far, I've been really enjoying my time, and I kind of forgot just how much thought they put into the character movesets in Advanced 2. That trick system they have off ramps.
I love that. Fun. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love it.
There's a lot they could do with classic 2D Sonic. It's really, it really comes down to them embracing, I think, that era of 2D Sonic, because they had something going there.
Absolutely. I mean, I think already like a big deal would be if they, I mean, we're getting so many Game Boy Advance, like, you know, remasters, right? We got the Mega Man Zero collection, we got the Castlevania collection, we've gotten we've gotten Advance Wars remade. Like, I feel like the GBA is starting to see its era of like remasters and stuff like. So I feel like Advance feels like the next big target, you know, and.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, like, and even we're seeing with Nintendo, you know, there's GBA on the NSO service. Like, it's like Game Boy Advance games are definitely, and we're even Mario vs. Donkey Kong from GBA is getting a remake. Like, that era of games is getting like its love. So I feel like a big part of that console's identity was the Sonic Advance trilogy. So whether they make a deal with Nintendo to put them on the eShop or get them remastered, like, I feel like Sega needs to stop like, you know, because you know, like how they have the issues with the Sonic 3 rights with the music or this. I'm sure with Advance it's the THQ thing. Like, they need to just invest the money to like figure it out, you know, because they could do it.
They got the money. Yeah, and they just bought Angry Birds for almost $1 billion.
Yeah,
so clearly you got the money. So I think that's a huge thing. Is Sega needs to focus on. First off, they need to focus on making sure their archive is intact, that they have all their old games that they could port properly, and then from there, they need to fix up these right issues with Sonic. Because
there's a lot.
Sonic Origins is a great example with Sonic 3. It literally hurt the product because clearly someone just didn't want to fork up some money to get the rights or to pay it off, you know. So
that is definitely an issue. I mean, it's, especially like with Sonic's, Sonic is one of the few franchises where like you just don't have access to those games unless you like, you know, have Steam or you emulate, which is fine by Sega. I mean, they want you to emulate, they want you to mod it, they don't care, but it'd be nice to have them accessible. Okay, yeah, so I feel like we all kind of agree on like the future of 2D. I agree. It's like I feel like the next step makes sense, you know, give us an Advanced remastered, give us, if you're gonna do more stuff like Superstars, like I said, like evolve it a little bit, you know, but I think a 2D modern game would still be really cool, and have it in like, I want it to be like, you know, give me a character like another Blaze, you know, like give me something where like, you know, it's a replay thing that doesn't, because I feel like, I mean, Trip as a character, right? I don't know. Do you guys think Trip's coming back, or you think that was it?
I hope Trip comes back.
I
do.
feel like she's not coming back. Like I'm gonna be honest. I feel like she's just.
That would be such a Sonic thing to do. That'd be such a Sonic thing to do.
I genuinely feel that.
We've gotten a lot of new characters recently, I think.
Yeah, we've got what, Sage.
I think, like, specifically, yeah, like the last, like, since Frontiers, basically, we got Sage, Trip,
the conductors from Murder Sonic, yeah.
The conductors and the main character.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of new characters, and I feel like during the 2010s, they really hesitated on introducing new characters. Like, I feel like one of the only ones we got was Infinite.
Yeah,
because Infinite was kind of a big deal. It's like he was like the first new character in a long time.
You're right, actually. Yeah, and not just that, I mean, like now that IDW is like mentioned in canon, it feels like inherently we have a lot more characters in our series. You know?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Generations, Unleashed. I guess Unleashed was pre-2010s.
Yeah, pre-2010s.
Colors had like no new characters. They had the Wisps, I guess. But
yeah.
Like,
what's his name?
I don't know if that counts as like a.
That was like the start of the era of like Sonic has to be alone. There can't be anyone.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, definitely they're not afraid of showing Sonic's friends.
Yeah.
Currently, which is really cool. I'm so glad that like Sonic's friends are coming back. As you can see, like DLC 3, Superstars, Dream Team, like Sonic's friends are back, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not afraid to bring new characters in, which is also awesome.
That's good. Yeah.
Now they just have to make sure to actually use them if they can.
That's actually one big point I feel like we should mention of this year though was the amount of focus they had on Sonic's friends this year was obviously with the DLC making them playable. We had Superstars, we had Origins, but also they had that whole Sonic Friends promotional material.
Yeah. Like Fast Friends Forever.
Fast Friends almost 20 years, but like we're finally shaking off some of those negative effects of Sonic 06.
I mean, Murder Sonic 2.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. That's when it happened. Yeah. That's when it happened, was when they were like, because a lot of people back then assumed or thought that the problem was Sonic's friends, which it wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
It was just, other things. So it's great to see them finally, shaking that off and actually having fun with the characters again in the universe. And now we're also, with Ian Flynn at the helm, we're also being able to play with the writing again and their interactions. And Twitter Takeover is always a treat to see them
of course.
interacting. So it's like, it's great.
Yeah, they should. I want them to go a little more crazy with the takeovers. Like, bring on Vector for an episode of a takeover. Bring on SCO, whoever. Like, bring on Sage. I want Sage to be part of a takeover. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so cool.
It would be. But yeah, no, Sonic Friends. Now, here's my final question about 2D, because I've debated this a lot with people, and I feel like a lot of people agree, disagree. Do you guys think Superstars is gonna get the plus treatment or a free season pass treatment like Frontiers, or you think they're done? You think it's a one and done and they're out? I don't know, because on one hand, this game was full price, so I don't think a plus would make as much sense, because so far the pluses were to give a retail incentive for the game with some stuff. Whereas I feel like here the game was already full price.
It was already full price.
And I feel like they would.
I feel like they would. I think that they would probably just move on to the next game.
More so, I would want a patch than a plus. Because I know for how they've been doing it is they would patch it when they add a plus.
Yeah.
But it's like at this point, like, don't even make it a plus, just patch it.
Yeah.
Like, just add in something.
Yeah.
For free.
And
if they are.
Yeah, but I mean, is it possible? I mean, I feel like Superstars had to have sold better than Origins, right? I feel like that.
I hope so. Yeah, because I remember there was that article that said like the launch week sales were softer than they expected.
But also it's also like for Superstars. But I mean, the fact is though, like especially after Christmas, I'm sure their sales probably took a
yeah, of course, yeah, because of the sales. And
and I think the game's been on sale.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they would probably do a plus at some point, but I don't want them to wait to fix stuff when the plus happens. I think that should. I get it. They should just. But if there, what I'm saying is, if there is no plus, they should still fix it.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, at this point though, I don't want that to become a habit where it's like, there has to be a plus.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we do.
Yeah, I think the game being full price might stop it, because like I said, like the plus was like a way to get the game to like $50 kind of, and I feel like in a different world, Superstars would have been 40, and then the plus would have been Trip's campaign plus the
Right.
supersonic fight
Yeah.
in there.
Oh, God.
I feel like that's a different world we would have lived in for sure. But okay, all right. What about you, Chaomix? You also agree? Nothing? They're just moving on?
I guess so.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
a patch for some of the weird things would
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah.
But in terms of like a plus version where they add like a whole new something, like a whole new campaign or another character, I have no idea.
Fang.
I vote that we make 2023 the year Sega really tried to kill us with these bosses.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
really
my
tried-
God, dude.
They really did.
What
Oh
was
my
their
God.
what was their damage, man? God, like
They
chill.
hated us. It was not like a challenge thing. They actually, it was like.
Yeah, I
it was
don't
like
know
they were-
why.
It's like somebody
I
sent
think
us like a
they-
Mario Maker level. They just wanted to screw with us.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
They sometimes overcorrect a little bit, like where people are like, "Oh, this is too easy." They're like, "All right, let
All
me
right, well,
just like
take
you know,
this.
make this
I
impossible
F you."
boss.
I
Like,
know.
take that.
Yeah.
That'll
It was-
show you to ever."
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, obviously we're gonna get into the 3D talk, but it's so funny. It's like now, suddenly now the difficulty matters in Frontiers. You know, like suddenly now it's where it really matters. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the big one here, the future of 3D Sonic. I think millions of opinions, a lot of different things, a lot of different ways this could go. So obviously, you know, right now our two modern 3D examples are Frontiers, and we had Dream Team on a mobile scale. And Frontiers obviously being the big one. And they've said, you know, the things we know factually is they've said that Frontiers is their next 10 years, right? They've said that this formula, this thing is their next, you know, decade of Sonic. And it's going to be like its own formula in the same way we had Adventure formula, Boost formula. Now we have our Open Zone formula. What do we think about, you know, based on how they handled the DLC this year? What's gonna happen? Are we getting just a blatant Frontiers 2? Are we getting like what do you think this goes with Frontiers? You know?
Are we dancing around it?
yeah.
Are we dan-
What we feel like.
Yeah,
You know
go-
what we feel like going on?
What do you go ahead? What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. I think I heard what your opinions are, but like, man, it's looking a whole lot like an adventure's coming. You know, we got all these friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it's like the next thing, but
Right.
like it feels like that's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
They're kind of slowly reeling back boosts, and they're kind of bringing back the character gameplay stuff. It literally feels like they're just they're just going back to how it used to be, and maybe
Yeah.
we're getting adventure time. That's what it kind of feels like. It
Really?
kind of feels like
So
that.
you think the next year would just deadass be an adventure title instead of like a Frontiers 2 or like another
saying-
name?
I'm not saying it's gonna be called Adventure 3, but
But
I'm
it
just
would
saying
be-
that
Oh,
it's
okay.
looking like because
Spiritual
I mean, look,
successor.
they took the time, and I think this is something important.
Mhm.
Is Kishimoto was on main, and he was saying a whole lot of
He said
stuff.
a
He was
lot.
liking a whole. He was liking a whole lot of stuff too. But he was saying a whole lot of stuff. And one of the things he mentioned with the characters is he wants to play with a lot of these characters and the gameplay so that he doesn't have to wait for the next title. He literally said that, almost like a testing ground for what he wants to do.
Right.
And the DLC with the characters, I think, was really good because it allowed him to get feedback. I know they just had an update.
Yeah.
They fixed up Knuckles and that stuff, and it's great. So I think what they're doing is they clearly their intentions are to use these characters again.
Yeah.
And what better way to do that than having a title that's literally an adventure, going back to that adventure mentality where we have Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, maybe a dark side with Shadow, and I guess the other big thing too, is to keep in mind the fact that movie 3 is next year.
Yeah.
And this is probably the last movie for a while, so they need to capitalize on that. Is it going to be something associated with that? Something, I know that talks about a possible Shadow thing, and that's probably where my money is right now, just because it would make the most sense. I have no idea what they would want to do, but clearly their intentions are to kind of go back to that adventure mentality, and I think that's great. Now, regarding that though, you mentioned Dream Team, and I think that's also going to leave a mark on like how they handle maybe some of the levels. I think one of the biggest things they had to have learned was a lot, like how they make these levels, how the characters play in them, how they interact with them. So yeah, I it's such a broad answer.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Clearly, your intention is there.
Okay, so you think next game adventure-esque, you know, playable, different playable characters and stuff. Interesting. Okay, what do you think, Chaomix? Where's your head at?
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna be a mix between adventure and frontiers. Because man, I loved DLC 3. I loved the challenge. I loved the characters. I thought for what it was really cool.
Yeah.
But like, it was basically retrofitted onto Sonic Frontiers, where like they clearly had really no intentions of having other characters, so they had to kind of make do with what was already set in base Frontiers. So like you can clearly see there are a lot of limitations. It felt like a beta test, but it was like really, really cool. And I think like whatever they do next, like definitely they're gonna have more characters. Like obviously they're not afraid to bring back characters.
Yeah, you can't go back, I feel like, again.
Right. And DLC 3 kind of set the bar for like what to expect in the next game.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna have all these characters. Like you already have half of the adventure formula right there. You know. So and also like movie 3 is coming out. They got Shadow the Hedgehog. He's got to be in it.
Yeah, something Shadow next year has to.
If they don't do something with Shadow, like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
but they obviously will. Like he's such a popular character, they would be stupid not to capitalize on like how insane that movie's gonna be and like how Shadow's just gonna blow up.
Here's what I think is probably gonna happen, because I think one of the biggest things we got to look at is the DLCs they had for Frontiers. I don't think all of the team or even half the team worked on the DLCs. I think it was like a quarter of the team. I think it was a very small amount. And even Kishimoto said with the last update,
the patch was like a few people.
It was like three people worked on that.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, what is that? What is the other team doing? Kishimoto,
yeah,
what are they doing?
know.
So you know what I mean. So,
which y'all cooking?
I mean, I think what they're playing the smart is they just bought them a year. They gave them a whole year. Cooking something in the background using the Frontiers framework, which means that they probably don't have to start from scratch. They're probably incorporating some of the stuff from the DLCs already. I think with movie 1, what did they do? They did Team Sonic Racing.
Yeah, I remember movie 1. People were like, it was weird because there was no game.
Lame.
Yeah.
But then movie 2, they leaned more into it because it was more of a success and they had faith. So I think that one was Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Right, that was Eureka Colors Ultimate.
But they have yet to tie, not a movie tie-in, but they have yet to tie their marketing
about it,
with the movie. And I think by doing the DLCs, they gave, and you know, with Superstars and with Dream Team, they gave that team time to like cook something up. A good 3 years to give them time to cook something up. And I think maybe by the end of next year, we'll see something not necessarily tied into the movie, but something that can be marketed with it. Right. Whether it be Shadow, whether it be just an adventure type game. I think that's probably what they're leaning towards.
I would love if they did something. You know, like the Spider-Man had like the Spider-Man team. They did like something like Miles Morales, right? Like an in between game, right? Yeah. And I would pay good money for like, you know, a $40 smaller scale Frontiers where it was like shadow based, you know, maybe whatever he's doing in his life or world, where we get a preview of the future without it being, you know, everything a sequel should need, you know, just a lot of improvements. I think that would be really smart. I don't know, like
actually,
yeah.
I was gonna say real quick, because I just remembered. There is some proof to this, because I saw this article during the marketing of Superstars. Some random I'm blanking on the name. Video game journalist asked Azuka, "Will Shadow be in Superstars?" Clearly, the answer is no.
Right.
Know that. But Azuka said, "No, it's a classic game. Shadow's not going to be in it." But I don't remember the quote exactly.
Right.
But Azuka was alluding to the possibility of Shadow fans not having to wait a long time.
Right.
So that right there told me, he could be referencing just the movie, but because of Azuka, I legit think it would be some sort of game aspect, whether it be like a Miles Morales type, was
Shadow the
Frontiers.
Hedgehog 2, baby.
Shadow-
Let's go.
Because they have
Hurry
been
up,
like,
they coming back.
because they have been like blatantly avoiding Shadow. Like it feels like recently they've like blatantly been like
saving him.
like we're saving this guy. We can't have him here, there, you know. Like they are very much hiding him, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that has to come with some kind of like whether it's like because I recently played Adventure 2 and I was like, damn, like the best part of this game is like the Sonic and Shadow levels. Like I would even love like a small scale game where it was like, here's some Sonic levels, here's some Shadow levels, and that's it. That's all. I'm out. You know, $40 in and out.
I almost wonder if they would even go as far as to just either report or remake Sonic Adventure 2. Because
That's a big question. Yeah.
Movie 3 is the first movie where it is based off of a game.
Right.
Like pretty much through and through.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if they would. Well, actually, you know what? They kind of did. Remember, like a few weeks ago, they released the ports on Steam
in Japan, right?
For Sonic
That's
Adventure
a good
1 and
That
2.
was a very
They're-
random one.
So
Yeah,
I don't think that was just out of nowhere. Like definitely, I think they're trying to hype up for movie 3, which is about Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah. We do also know Sega has their what is it called? That new thing, the new era of Sega, right? Where they announced, you know,
Oh,
Jet Set
right.
and Golden Axe and Streets of Rage, right? Where like, you know, there was a sign of rings in those commercials, and I feel like you obviously, I mean, like, you know, if you're leaning into Dreamcast era, like, I feel like you can't dodge Sonic.
Right, it's like the face of the console.
Yeah, and it's like
Right.
whether it's an adventure, it's weird, right? Because like if they remake or remaster Adventure 2, I feel like you need to do one, but I feel like you also, I don't know.
It's kind of hard to do one without the other.
It-
it-
almost
I
have
would
to do an
probably
insane
say-
trilogy type bundle
Mm-hmm.
with them. I don't know.
Honestly, if I was them, I would tell them don't even try right now.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
If you mess that up, that's too big of a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly,
That's the only
I
thing.
would probably just do something new with the engine they have now. Like, do something
Yeah,
new with it.
I kind of agree because like I mean I've said this before, like whether it's Adventure 2, whether it's Adventure 3 or Adventure Remakes, they know they have to crush it because I'm like those are
It's
like
impossible to meet the expectations.
yeah, you
of,
can't
like,
meet the expectations of an Adventure 3. It's like a Half-Life 3. It's a meme of like how insanely hyped it would be. The company would have to be at its peak performance. I even think Adventure 3 is like Sega's big red button. Like that's like we're going there.
We're about to go bankrupt.
Yeah, like we
No, we're
need
about to go bankrupt.
yeah,
This is
Sonic
my
3,
problem.
hit the button. And that's why I kind of agree. Like, it either has to be Adventure 2, like remaster, remake with a lot of the same inherencies, or like, yeah, you just make a new game in that style, that smaller scale.
Bro, imagine like they do a shadow thing next year,
Mm-hmm.
but then like after that, because there's always the talk about a super game, right?
You're
Like,
right.
if far in the future,
Super game.
that super
It's obviously Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
so.
it has to
exactly.
be, but like, what if that super game is like that Adventure 3? Because like, if we have that Sonic aspect with Frontiers, his friends in the DLC, Shadow,
Mm-hmm.
literally you have Team Hero, Team Dark at that point.
Yeah,
Like, bro,
yeah, would love that, man.
got it. Yeah, you got to
It's-
just cook it.
It's like so hard to like tell because like even I mean, yeah, I think we're all in agreement that a game that involves Shadow is coming, you know, or should happen. I feel like
That would
even,
actually be stupid not.
yeah, I agree. Like I really feel like Shadow. I mean, they could make a Shadow 2 or a new Shadow game, but like that, obviously, like they're never gonna go back to the guns and stuff. But even just if it was like,
Nah, dude, I want the guns.
I know.
want the Harley Davidson.
I know.
I need another flashback to how the hell Maria got shot. I need the whole
a
thing.
whole thing, double
I
down.
want the
It'd be
game
cool if
updated
they-
to have the Olive Garden guy's face
Yeah.
on the gun
Oh
sword.
my god.
What were we
I think
saying,
they could
Ryan?
bring back the guns if they were less realistic, maybe.
Yeah.
A bit more like
Right.
fictional.
Yeah, I mean, they
I feel
wouldn't
like
make an
Shadow
M
is
rating.
so cool with the freaking gun. I don't know what it is. Like
Yeah.
they just go together like peanut butter and jelly.
I sadly feel like they never will go back to the Shadow with a weapon. I think it is gonna be like if they do like even a Frontiers moveset with him, it's gonna be like, you know, chaos control, more brutal attacks. I think,
Right.
which I think is cool regardless.
I would be fine.
Hell yeah, 100%.
I think the way they do it in 06 and also like obviously Project 06, I think it might be kind of more fleshed out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shadow's moveset is like super cool. Like he warps to enemies.
Absolutely,
like,
it's very easy.
I want a game that fully takes advantage of like chaos control.
Yeah, 100%.
Like almost like a debug mode. Like when you have chaos control, you can yeah.
Teleporting platforming would be like really dope if they found a way to do that correctly. It'd be fire. Yeah, no, I mean that's okay. So we all kind of agree next game adventure-y style. What about like remasters, right? Because I feel like we've talked about how like there's definitely the catalog missing, but there's also some they blatantly want to avoid. Like they don't want to. I think there was like a rule. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe they've like removed this. They had like some internal rule where like they don't report or put to place like games, the 3D games that have less than like a 60 on Metacritic, so it doesn't look bad or something. I remember hearing about that a long time ago.
So I think what that's in reference to is the blacklist they had.
Right.
Like, there was a time when they just acted like Unleashed and Color.
Yeah.
And, like Unleashed, 06, like Secret Rings, Black Knight. Like those games just didn't exist.
Yeah.
I feel like we're definitely at an era now, and it's probably from the sentiment in the community, honestly, and people that grew up with those games getting older.
Yeah.
I think they literally dropped that BS because obviously, you know, Unleashed.
You're all over the symphony, dude. You play the Black Knight theme song.
Yeah, exactly.
Auditorium is going nuts.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
Because by now, people grew up with those games. It doesn't matter like if they were bad. Like people have nostalgia for them, so like they kind of look back on them fondly.
I think.
So I think definitely time has kind of healed that, and I do think that if there was a mandate, which it kind of, I think there was definitely like you can
I'm
tell
sure.
back then that they like purposely avoided talking about certain games, but nowadays I don't think.
You can also tell in the marketing, like they'll reference Unleashed, they'll reference all those things.
And it's like I do think if they remaster certain like let's say like I'm playing Heroes right now, and I'm like in my mind I'm like, dude, if you guys just ported this straight up, people would hate this thing. Like really, like Team Dark is like blatantly fucked up. You know, I'm Team Chaos. I'm sure Jesse.
I would love that.
Yeah, I know you would. Right,
I would eat that up.
But even just quality of life fixes, right? Like an easy mode, unlimited lives. You know, just some. It doesn't. Just some fixes, something, right? Because I think that would go a long way, right? Like implement what you've seen are like the most popular mods for these games, right? And implement that into those games, right? And obviously people want Sonic Unleashed.
Says that he looks towards the mods for inspiration.
Yeah,
I think.
That is a big thing. He said, he said that is.
It's a big deal.
You never see a company say that. That is crazy. I love that. I love
it's that's all. I mean, again, it's like I've said this. Like I feel like the only reason really in the 2010 Sonic felt like it stayed afloat was like fans like making shit, whether it's on YouTube or animations or mods, like, you know, keeping that shit alive in the West is like the mods and stuff. And I just feel like look, like literally Sonic Unleashed, people have just put that on Generations. Obviously not the Werehog levels, but the day stage, they're just fully playable and everything. I think Unleashed, to me, it's insane. I know they're on Xbox, but like the fact that a game like Generations is not available on Switch and PlayStation is like crazy. It's like
makes no sense.
It's very weird, and I don't know if it's because they want to remaster it and add some, because I feel like Unleashed remaster makes the most sense, right? It looks beautiful. You know, you have the Xbox patch to make it 60. Add some stuff, you know, make the level, the metal grinding less annoying. Maybe give you more of Werehog's movesets from the beginning. Speed them up. Change the music, please. And I feel like you're good on Unleashed. I don't think they have to do too much to that game, really. I don't know. What do you guys think? What's a logical remaster step for them, or remake?
I almost wanted them to do it in era, like in bulk.
Really?
You know what I mean, like if we could get like a
collection,
some sort of
like Crash,
like a collection. Yeah, almost like Crash.
Crash Insane Trilogy, right?
Because like I feel like, you know, I'm going back. Like if they did like an adventure one, like they should have Adventure 1 and Adventure 2.
I agree.
Together. Like they're practically like if you get one gameplay right, you got the other one. You got to change the animation. The Heroes in Shadow should be its own thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe Unleashed. Unleashed is so big though, but definitely like I agree that they would have to make some changes to it.
Yeah.
If there was ever going to be a remake though, if they would have, I feel like people would think it'd be weird for them to just go to a random one without going to like Adventure.
I agree.
Adventure 2. So I think it would
Unleashed is
have
kind
to
of
be
tough though,
Right.
because I think a lot of outsiders, like non-terminally online Sonic fans, like they don't like Unleashed.
They don't.
Like
They
most
don't.
people don't. So like if Sega were to bring it back, like yes, the hardcore Sonic fans would probably love it, but I think the general audience, the general gaming sphere, would be like, why this one? Like,
Yeah, this
was,
is
like,
the
one
one
of
where
the
you
bad
turn
ones.
to a werewolf, you
One of the
know?
bad ones.
Yeah.
Hear me out though. Like, what do you think would happen if they, and this would never happen, but what do you think would happen if they remade Sonic 06?
dude.
Oof.
'Cause that would be
I thought about
insane.
this.
Just the
I think-
publicity, the fact that they were remaking like their worst game, it would break the internet.
I legit think it would be. It would actually sell so well because of that publicity you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think that is the perfect amount of publicity, but I think down the road that would be a great idea. Just
I think
to,
so
like-
because people, like, for one, people love to hate Sonic 06.
Yeah,
like
it's-
it is every streamer's like incentive goal. Like,
Yeah.
I'll play this horrible game on stream
Yep.
and like you guys can watch it. It is the like every Let's Player like plays through that game and it's like, oh my god, look how bad it is. But like we can obviously see that the coding and the physics were like kind of botched. But
Right.
like you look at a fan project like Project 06 and suddenly like, wait a minute, this could have been like such a cool game
Yeah.
if they had the time to program it. So not only do you kind of have a good foundation, like if you were to just fix those flaws with it and actually finish it, but you'd also have the publicity of it being Sonic 06. So
Yeah,
like I
that's
could almost
crazy.
see that being an insane, just like marketable thing. Like if Sonic 06 remake came out, what streamer would not play that?
Exactly. You're,
Everyone would.
that is kind of crazy to
single
think about.
person
Yeah.
would play it. In sales, it would do amazing.
You're right.
In terms of like scores, like user scores, like critic scores, I don't know. Like if they were to polish it, I do think that there is such a stigma and bias around Sonic 06 that even if it were a good game, people would still kind of like give it a lower score.
I
They
feel
would
like
make
it's,
fun of them for,
see,
for doing it again.
I feel like
but-
it'd be the opposite. I feel like that's a game that if they remade and they fixed it, so many of the critics, would be praising the fact that like, Sega was. I genuinely cannot believe Sega took one of their worst games and made it into something good, right? Even if they made it just good, I feel like that would be such a good, beat, right? Of like this, because it would also be very unprecedented. I mean, I always say this about remakes and remasters. A lot of companies are safe and they remake the games people love instead of remaking the games that fucked up and like seeing them fixed and in their full potential. I feel like would be so much more interesting, right? Like
way more.
absolutely,
100%.
that would
I just
open
feel like
that would open a
06
floodgate of other
Absolutely.
companies doing that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
It would. 06 just has such a stigma around
Yeah.
it. Like it is one of the most infamous games, like maybe even ever.
in gaming, absolutely.
Maybe
I mean,
not the
that's
most infamous game, but like probably one of like the top most infamous games of all time.
Yeah.
Like they would be fighting a real uphill struggle to kind of like win people over. But in terms of sales, dude, that would sell so well.
absolutely.
Everyone and their mom would want to play that on stream.
Because it's like, yeah,
Just to
all the
see how it-
streamers would. I feel like even in the game, people would like make fun of things that are fixed. Be like, oh, they kept this thing, but it looks good.
Yeah.
And it's modern, Like, I don't know. You're definitely right. There's something psycho about that. That's like blatantly cool. And I would love if they did
Yeah.
that, right?
The only thing they would probably have to change is just the story completely. The
Right.
story would have to be like,
I wouldn't say completely. I think there's a few things that really
Elise.
ruin the, yeah, right. They would have
Elise
to kind of
is the chick.
repurpose Elise a little bit
Yeah.
and make her not as snappable and also don't kiss Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, probably flesh her character out. I think the base story for 06 is actually one of my favorites.
Right.
Like, it's actually... I'm actually so surprised that people don't like the story. Like, certain moments in the story, I understand.
Are awful,
like,
yeah,
just
but the
flat out
inherent
following
idea
the
is
story
fire.
path.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, the story in 06 is actually like really awesome. You got Silver coming from the past, trying to stop this like catastrophic event. He has to like kill Sonic, but he's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. It's a cool ass
It
story.
is,
There's
it
time
is.
travel. There's a bunch of cool characters. But there's just like bad moments in it, and
Yeah.
like people take those bad moments, and they're really bad.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
they take those and kind of like it defines the entire story, which I
it
think
needs
is
to be
really.
it needs to
unfair.
be the intention is good. It just to be better written.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, they have to. They definitely needed a few more like revisions of the story before they put it out. But obviously they didn't have time, and that's not what we got. But yeah, I think honestly the story, like slight refactoring, but like other than that, like I think they could use the story. They'd just retell it in a better way.
Yeah, I like that. That's crazy enough to be awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
Hypothetically, in this world, in that hypothetical world they were reviewing, because now we're just having fun now.
Yeah.
Do you think they would go like the Unleashed route with the humans, or would they really make Eggman look that way again?
They'd make him look how he does now. I don't think they would.
Yeah, they wouldn't go back.
They would not go back to that. Because
to be fair, I think that would be an upgrade to go with the Unleashed Pixar route.
Yeah.
I think it just makes more sense.
think I have the unpopular opinion on this. Definitely, I think the Pixar route is kind of generic. I think they need to bring back like the kind of like anime aesthetic from like the adventure games, just higher poly.
I agree.
I don't know, something about the Pixar, it doesn't fit with Sonic.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
I think he fits better in like an
stylized.
Anime aesthetic. Like look at Sage. Like imagine Sage next to like freaking Ratatouille main character.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't.
I almost
really
feel like even something more, maybe not anime, but something like a Spider-Verse, right? Where like it's stylized. Yeah, I feel like a stylized approach to the characters makes more sense than the generic 3D Pixar-esque, like how it was, you know. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah, like I've always liked anime inherent Sonic in that sense. But you know, that's a good one. I mean, like a lot of their best ideas I feel like are locked in games. It's like look at Sonic and the Black Knight. I mean, people are constantly posting about how like that's the best interpretation of the character. And I've played that game with a controller like, as a mod, and it's like fantastic actually when you play with it like just a controller. It's crazy. So bringing something like that back would be fine. I want them to do stuff like that where it's like bring the thing that's unexpected and you know make it peak, right?
Right. Is it Merlina that's in Sonic and the Black Knight? Right. There's also Shara.
Well, yeah, Shara is Secret Rings. Merlina is Shara is Arabian Nights. So and Merlina is
that art style is like, I like that art style for the humans. And I think like
anime
whatever they're kind of using for Sage as well, like that kind of art style. I know she's a kid, but if you were to like have grown-ups in that art style, like I think that would also work.
Yeah, I agree. There's still that girl, the purple hair girl that they don't want to let go of.
Dude,
you know?
I am.
I don't know what she's doing.
I don't know what that. I feel like at this point, like that was just a random thing. I don't even know.
I know, but they brought it up like it's like Ian Flynn keeps doing like. Wait for it. Now, granted, it could be just a comic, but he did say he's not doing the comics currently. So, who knows? Who knows? Okay, but yeah.
And what is he doing?
He's busy cooking.
He's busy
what is he doing?
Cooking. Huh? He's cooking. He's cooking. He's in the lab. Yeah, but it's so interesting. What do you guys also think about spin-offs? Right? Like, do you think? What do you think? Where like they just don't want to do? Because obviously, Murder of Sonic was such a beautiful surprise. I think Katie has said Katie consistently asks on Twitter, "What do you guys want to see?" Right? Yeah. And I think stuff like again, this is where the Mario-fying of Sonic.
What was your answer for that? Did you respond?
Yeah, I responded. I said I wanted. Because I talked about I want more weird stuff, like a different genre for Sonic. Like I would love a Sonic beat 'em up. Right, a Sonic beat 'em up to me would be fire. I think even like, I'll never understand this. How isn't there a Sonic rhythm game when literally the most consistent thing about this franchise is the music? Like it's insane. Yeah, like, Symphony is massively popular. Yeah, like it's like the music I feel like is the heart and soul really of this series, and the fact that there isn't a rhythm game when Sega publishes Miku, publishes Samba de Amigo, like what are you doing? You know?
Right. Yeah.
Like
so I went to when the Symphony came to Chicago. I went with a bunch of friends, and these friends like they like Sonic, but they're not like into Sonic. Like you know they played them as kids. And, you know they'll try the new game sometimes. But like when we walked out of that theater, they're like, dude, I forgot like how much I love Sonic music. Like, it's so good. It's like some of the best.
I know.
There.
Yeah.
So like it's in people's heads.
Absolutely.
Now. Like, they've gone to the Symphony and like at least heard any of the Symphony. Like, it's such a reminder. Like, man, Sonic has some fire.
Yeah, it's literally incredible. I mean, I would argue it's like. What are the best songs in the industry? I feel like it would be like Sonic, Final Fantasy, you know, certain Nintendo things. It's like it's up there easily, no question.
It should be celebrated more.
And it's like the fact there isn't a rhythm game is crazy. I would love like a beat 'em up, like even like, you know, something like a Streets of Rage for Sonic would be fire. Obviously, a dream would be like a fighting game. That would be incredible. So I
Biggest
just
thing for me,
my answer for that was Metroidvania.
Metroidvania
I think
sounded
a very
fire.
explorative, like if they're gonna do like a 2D game, maybe experiment with like a big Metroidvania map, and then have Sonic unlock abilities that can like get him to different places. I think that.
Or like the biggest thing is just having it as like a level gimmick. I think one thing that Game apologist mentioned, which was such a genius idea, was I think this level in Superstars where that press hits the background and you go flying in through the air because the press kept in the background. What if that was timed with? What if it was timed with the music? Like, there's just so many good ideas they could do with Sonic that not other game characters get to do because Sonic is known for its music consistently. So it's something that I hope maybe Sega would notice because of the success of the Symphony.
Kind of reminds me those levels in Mario 3D World where it was the music and it would beep and then the platforms would switch, so you had to like listen to the music and that's how you like knew what would happen. They could definitely incorporate, if they're not going to do it like a full-on rhythm game, they can definitely, I think they should play around with music more in the base gameplay of just like any Sonic game. I think they could definitely do that.
Yeah, I think it's just it's it's weird, like, because like obviously, I mean, another one is Riders, right? People want I'm done. I don't want to be in a car anymore. I want to go back to Riders, really.
Yeah,
I know.
Riders 100%.
Like how, like it's just one. It is
Sonic thing of all time.
It really is like stylistically, it's like so much better. And my argument too was that like I think the guys who made Team Sonic Racing, like they work for Tencent now, so I don't even think they're working with Sega anymore. They got bought.
Really?
Sumo Digital got bought by Tencent.
That's news to me. What?
Yeah, that was a long time. I think it was 2 years ago now. Yeah, R.I.P.
What is
Tencent is like a mega Chinese corporate, and like they
huge.
basically they're one of those just Chinese companies that just have like bought in a bunch of game developers. People don't like them really, you know, but like
make, mobile games.
Yes, they basically get hired. And it goes to mobile hell essentially.
I would say like definitely Riders is like would be so great. I think one of the things that I would probably choose before Riders, even though I'm a huge Rider fan, is probably just going back to a Sonic R styled like game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And the only reason I'd say that is because the DLCs with Frontier shows that all these characters can boost. They could all run fast, which is how it should be. I think also too something Sega mentioned a few years ago is when the CEO mentioned he wants an online game that's consistent, that can be competitive. Can be competitive.
Dude, you guys have played Sonic Battle R, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yes, and I love it. Something like that.
They gotta do something like that instead of like a kart racer or like, you know, skateboard, hoverboard racer. Just have like an on-foot racing game, but it's not like Sonic R. It's literally just 3D Sonic. And you race people, like basically the Adventure 2 battle mode, but make it like 4-player, 8-player, like a like battle royale.
But that can have a huge online component too. Because all these companies want like online things. They want to be like Fortnite,
right?
That's genuinely a good example of them doing an online game that could have online components.
Right.
That would give it a long shelf life.
A multiplayer only game.
Yeah.
And I don't know, make it free to play. And
I would love, like, I mean, I think about this as like, I would have loved to like compete against my friends in cyberspace levels, you know?
Yeah.
If like I was Sonic, someone was Amy, and we're side by side, like I'm trying to beat my friend, like that would be awesome. You know, something like that would be crazy. And I think, leaning into either something Sonic R but modern, right? Where like levels are large, you have more space to run really fast, would be so dope. And it'd be interesting. It's like, would they be more stiff, or would it be dead as just like a boost level that you're just, you know, like I almost feel like maybe in the next game, if they don't want to do cyberspace as a concept, then make just, you know, a multiplayer game where you have the linear 3D Sonic levels and they're just multiplayer games. You can race against your friends.
That'd be awesome.
I think that's the big thing I want to see going forward is how they manage the level design. Because I think that's one thing that I didn't really like about the DLCs is because a lot of them were just reused assets, but we've seen an example of reused assets being good and being bad. You know,
Yeah.
example of not being great.
It's inconsistent in the DLC. Like the
Right.
Master Coco challenges, some are ass, some are good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would genuinely like if the level design was a mixture of the open world, but that open world had elements of like what we've seen in Dream Team, where they have sections where you could run on, and it's kind of like a traditional Sonic level, but it's still an open world. You can jump off here, go to that other obstacle course over there. I think that'd be a great idea, and something like that I think would work for 3D games, but for like a racing game like we mentioned, or just any sort of like online thing. I think there's a lot of potential they have when it comes to Sonic's level design. They have yet to really utilize it and do it well in a main game yet.
Yeah. And I feel like it's like I feel like a fighting game is just so easy. You know, like you have the cast, right? And we've seen a lot of companies now attempting the Smash style, right? You know, whether it's Multiverses, even though that's gone, whether it's Nick All-Stars 2, whether, you know, I feel like they could do something like that. But at the same time, like, every company that tries to do the Smash style, just like it's always just compared and it doesn't go well.
It has to be its own thing.
It has to be
its own thing. I don't like when I don't want it to be such a blatant like we're trying to be
this is
this.
Smash,
like,
but not just make a 2D fighting game.
Thing.
Or even
Yeah.
like I know obviously people nowadays, except if it's like Sparking Zero for Dragon Ball, I feel like, you know, I know arena fighters have such a bad stigma, but if they made just like even Naruto level, right, where you have really cool specials, you have some cool combos, cinematics, like I think that would be more than enough for Sonic, right? Or even this is a weird example, but like Pokken. I know, like, Pokken to me is like that idea of a 3D that shifts to 2D would be really cool for a Sonic fighting game. I just feel like it's like so obvious. You know, you have the cast, you can get DLC, you can get guest characters from Sega. Like, there's that other game that I really love, the fan one. What is it? Sonic. There's
the fighting Sonic game?
Yeah, there's like a 2D fighting fan side, which is incredible.
Yeah,
like
I know
it plays like MVC, Marvel. Yeah, and
dude, speaking of that, if they won't do Sonic, they should at least do some kind of like Sega versus
100%.
That would be so cool.
I think that's what might be one of the super games. Yeah, 100%. And it's, I don't know, I feel like there's so much potential. The fact that there isn't a beat 'em up is crazy too. Like, I feel like that's a cool way, you know, give an indie team like the fact, like, dude, like your biggest, the people that have made the best shit in your series a lot of times have been like the fans, right? So giving an indie team, like, you know, the chance to make like a Sonic beat 'em up or something would be crazy. And even I know there's one being made by the fans, but it's shocking there isn't a Sonic maker, right? Like a 2D Sonic maker.
Yeah.
Because it's like Mario Maker was such a huge success. Now, I know with Sonic it's different because level design is much more complex, right, than Mario. Mario, it feels like every tool you have, you know what to do with it. You know, like there's the blocks, there's the enemies. It's a little more inherently simple. But I would, like, Sonic fans would make the craziest levels if there was a 2D maker in there.
There's the fan game.
Yeah.
The Sonic Maker fan game.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. What do you guys think about Sega? Like, if they were to just go up to people that are making games and be like, "Hey, we'll like."
I'm with you.
They did it before.
Yeah,
they did it before. That's literally Mania. That's like Mania was pitched to them.
Imagine they did that with
what it was.
Right. Imagine they did that with Sonic Maker or
Dude,
Project 06.
I've been saying that, like,
making this game, we'll keep paying you and we'll buy it off you.
And dude, I've been saying this forever. It's like, dude, like, you guys should just have an initiative, you know, called, like, you know, the Sonic, you know, Sonic Team Fan Initiative, right? Like, maybe there's a year where they have like this like game jam or something, like themselves, right? Where
they pick the best content.
Yeah, pick the best and be like, okay, we are gonna work with you, make a small scale, you know, $20 game. Like Mania was $20, you know. So why can't, you know, a Sonic beat 'em up be $20 or a Sonic fan? Like, I feel like leaning on to these people that are making the best shit, giving them a budget, right? To actually, because a lot of these fan games, the worst thing about all these fan games, what happens is they never get done because there's no incentive to sit down and make a full thing, right? And spend all your time when it's just going to be, you know, flavor of the week fan game that disappears in conversation a few weeks later. So just giving these people, the most talented people in your base, like a home, a hub to work on shit would be incredible. And I know, like, it comes with the challenges of, you know, we've seen moments where fan games end up having shitty people working on them or whatever.
Right, I was thinking about that, but you would just have to
Yeah, you
kind
just
of vet them.
Yeah, you'd have to check your boxes, like make sure this, that, check their history, all that.
I mean, that applies to any developer, though.
Yeah, you
like
could
if you hire just someone for Sonic, you have to also do background checks on them.
I would.
So just go through the same process as you would there, and
like
just kind of make them sign things so that they, can't leak anything or like do anything crazy.
I would argue for fan developers to take the initiative themselves too, where they
I agree.
Whitehead and Simon Timely did, because they just started as Sonic fans on like Sonic Retro, all this stuff, where they were I think Simon Timely was known for fixing the port of Sonic Genesis, like fan made, and then Christian Whitehead ported CD to iPhone.
Dude, easy.
And they themselves
pitched
the
this
initiative
stuff constantly to Sega.
Right.
So I don't know like if
going through
fan devs are doing this or not, but like I don't know, maybe if you aren't, try it. If you have something that is like pretty cool and it's Sonic related, like pitch it to Sega.
Yeah, 100%.
That's basically what Christian Whitehead did, and he got denied a bunch of times until like one day they're like, okay, wait, this might actually be beneficial.
Right.
Dude, that game,
you know that it is beneficial.
100%.
And guess what? If you get declined, then you got a great like first party thing you could create yourself to make your own IP outside of Sonic. But like I think that Sega, of all the companies,
you'd be shocked.
Out of all the fan bases, like Sonic is super talented, and Sega knows that they need their fans. They
100%.
Mentioned now with the mods, they look at it as competition. Yep. They don't DMCA stuff. The fans are the reason, like you mentioned a while ago, that why Sonic is still around now.
Yeah,
100%. And I feel like that should just be celebrated, and for them to embrace it regarding games, that would be great. I think Sonic Forces Overclocked was a great example.
Absolutely.
Like, Sega would never touch Sonic Forces with a 10-foot pole again, because like the game was a disaster for them review-wise. But these fans literally, probably, if you look at Sega's charts, they probably saw a little bump in Sonic Forces sales because of that fan game. So it's like they should, because of a mod. Actually, it's a mod.
Dude, so
it's like
the game. What's the other game I really love? Sonic and the Fallen Star, right? I don't know if you guys played that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, but I heard about it.
It's no joke. If you full screen that, gave someone a control, told them that was a new game by Sonic Team, like they'd believe you. It's got a beautiful art style. It's done. Like it's a complete game. Like you have 7 zones, you have special stages, you play a Sonic. Like if you played that, like that's blatant, and they're making like a sequel now, And I'm like, the fact that you guys at Sega have been like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll work with you guys. Put a bit more things in the game. Put our logo on it. Charge, you get this %. It's done. Like it's a lock. That game is genuinely like, and I want more of that, right? And
I gotta play it.
You really do.
It's
and
really good.
Even like I was playing on one of the events recently, Sonic Mania Mega Mix. And that thing is insane, right? It's like Shadow's playable, and he's got like a sick moveset. All the game, it's like there's so much shit where you can just lean on these people to do shit for you while you're working on the big stuff in the back end, right? Especially because I feel like the 3D stuff is a little more difficult. We often don't get as many big 3D fan projects. So when it comes to stuff like spin-offs or smaller things, like go for it. Just fucking embrace what's making you thrive, and you're gonna have mega PR. Like that's massive PR. It's gonna look good on the public. The big companies that make fun of Sonic and Sega be like, Sega is working with the people that have made them thrive throughout the years, and that's the fans, right? So makes them look good. You get some bangers on there. Easy W for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And what do we think right now? Obviously, we've talked a lot about games and stuff, but we've seen now Sonic is a multimedia star, right? And I was really shocked we didn't get the Knuckles show this year, and that Chaomix died right in front of my eyes. It was that thing, of like, I was shocked Knuckles show didn't come out this year. If anything, I thought it was going to be early this year. And obviously, we had the actors strike, which was pretty blatantly something that pushed it back. But next year, so we're getting the end of Prime, presumably. I think part 3 is the end. We're getting the end of Prime. We're getting Knuckles show. We're getting movie 3. What do you think about those things? What do you think about all those 3 things? So let's talk about Prime first. So Prime is ending in January. What do you guys think about it? Do you think they're going to continue? Do you think there will be more Netflix stuff? What do you think is going on?
I haven't really kept up with season 2. I watched the first one.
Okay.
But
I have to use the
really tell
bathroom.
you.
Start that conversation.
Okay, yeah, I honestly, I couldn't say if 3 is gonna be the last one or not. It kind of seemed like it was more climactic, like it was kind of like the the end of the story,
Right.
from the trailers that I saw. But yeah, I don't know.
So I watched both seasons, and I can't lie, I'm having trouble remembering season 2. It's
Was it worse? Do you think it was worse than season 1?
I think the charm wore off because the animation's always great, and Sonic with Shadow and the fight. I think episode 1 was the best, if I remember. That's the one I remember the most.
That's the one with the Sonic and Shadow fight. I think, right.
Yes, and I think what I don't like about Prime, I think it's two things. I think the writing can get pretty cheesy at times, a little too much. But I think it's the setting, the world. I think New York City was such a great setting. I actually wouldn't have minded if they were there longer. But I think the setting is what got boring to me. We the first couple episodes of Sonic Prime, within those few couple episodes, we saw what all the worlds the show has to offer.
Right.
And I feel like Sonic worlds are so diverse and there's so many great things. They have to change it up, and I know that's a lot because I know New York City must have took New York City must have taken
Mario brain rot. I get it.
But yeah, New York City must have taken a lot of resources from them to make. But I think that what makes everything feel homogenous is because the setting has been the same. The story has been kind of tiring. I think it's a matter of the fact that there's a lot of potential in a show like that. I really do like the animations. I think Devin Mackel is a
awesome.
Fantastic voice actor for Sonic. I think it's just the story and the setting needs a refresh.
It is inherently more of a kid's show that's trying to have a cool plot as opposed to like an anime, you know?
Yeah. But I didn't really look at the advertisements for season 3 because I'm gonna watch it, but I'm legit having trouble remembering season 2.
Well, season two. I mean, obviously the ending is really cool with the purple Sonic and the big Eggman.
Right,
it was a lot more action based, and obviously Shadow was the highlight of season 2.
Yeah, episode 1 of season 2 is the one I remember.
Yeah,
that was just the bang.
100%.
That was great.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like is when it's more focused. Like in this episode, Sonic is fighting Shadow. In this episode, Sonic is like Metal Sonic. I think when it's like that, I think that's when it shines. But when it starts to do the same formula of like, why are you attacking me? I thought you were my friend. It's like, we did that at least 8 times. I think we need to, yeah. So, but regarding Prime though, I think overall it was a W. I know there's a lot of people online that was like, the writing. Yeah, the writing isn't that great all the time, but I think
I fight
overall,
about that with people all the time, man.
it's really not. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
Yeah.
I think there's great potential in doing something like this again. I wouldn't mind though, like a style change entirely, like going back to like Sonic X anime type.
Right. I do think, man, like with especially with Netflix, right? You look at the Castlevania show doing well. They just announced a Tomb Raider style anime. You see the DMC one. I feel like Sonic of all series like deserves, whether it's like a Puss in Boots style like animation style or like a full anime look. I feel like Sonic deserves that. You know,
is it Powerhouse that does Castlevania?
Is it Paris? Yeah.
Right. So they have experience with Sonic.
Yeah, and I feel like I just think Sonic deserves. I really think it's like, especially like when you think of the most popular things on YouTube for Sonic that Sega has made, it's the animations. It's the Sonic Team Racing animation. It's the Sonic the Sonic Mania animations, the Sonic Christmas animations, like all even the Sonic Superstars, the animation looked beautiful.
Yeah.
And the intro for Dream Team, like people love when Sonic is animated so much.
Well, the re-uploads of like all the TV shows too.
Yeah.
Like, you look on
they have crazy views.
They might be YouTube Kids, which probably does something, but yeah, they're up there in views. Like,
isn't Sonic Mania like the compilation like 100 million views? It's actually crazy.
Yeah, which is, by the way, you take that reel to any like company and you say, hey, this is our pilot. Who would be not crazy enough to take that? Exactly.
Budget. And obviously, I know Tyson like is probably busy. You know, he's working on a big budget movie. And I don't necessarily think I really don't want the team, because the Sonic, if I remember correctly, it's the Sonic X team that made the animations for Superstars and the intro. And I can tell by Sonic's body shape and how weird he looks. It's not the best.
It is cool that Sega has an in-house animation studio.
Yeah,
and I feel like they never really utilize it.
It
is. I think it's budgeted. Like Sonic X was very like low budget. Like it had some really good moments, but like 90% of the episodes were like really low budget.
Yeah, it's
very off model. Like
same
most
with
of the
fact
time.
that they own Marza, don't they? Like the same.
Yeah, they own Marza.
I think they do own.
They do own Marza.
Yeah.
Studio.
So the fact that like that is the craziest thing.
I know.
Like I would love. This is actually a huge discussion people have, which is like after movie 3, what do you think they would do with the movie franchise? I know that the possibility would be like TV shows, and I'd be down for that. But because Jim Carrey, for example, wants to retire,
right?
Eggman's gonna have to change. I would rather they just go a different art direction, so that way they could have an animated Eggman and it feels natural.
I would adore again like like not the same style, because I don't want everything to be like Spider-Man, like you know what I mean, like that unique animation style for Sonic would like. I think people would die. I mean, the second an animated Sonic movie shows and that's, and I see how it looks like, it's over.
And Marza just went ham with I think Lupin the Third.
Yeah.
Like, it's so beautiful. Like and Marza helped with the Sonic movie 2 short thing.
Yeah, they helped the Sonic Mania Sonic movie short. They also helped with Sonic Prime, which is why a lot of those fights look good. It's like Marza definitely understands how to animate that character more than anyone.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, I'm sure it would cost a fuck ton of money. I mean, I'm sure the Unleashed intro alone costed like a fuck ton. So I don't know, an hour and a half or two of them. Yeah, like obviously they'd be held by a big studio, you know, a Paramount or whoever. But again, Paramount has a lot of unique animated projects going on. So I feel like that's the one thing we're missing. We have live action Sonic, we have 3D animated Sonic. I feel like next we need a 2D animation Sonic, whether it's a show or movie. I feel like that's the next logical step.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
New Sonic OVA.
New Sonic OVA, something like that, man. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I would love it. What do we think is going on with Knuckles Show? Are we? Is it like?
I guess next year sometime.
Yeah, I guess.
We heard the plot of it, right? I think that was a synopsis that came out of the show.
Right. It's what buddy cop with
like,
Wayne.
It was like him with Wayne. Yeah. I gotta be honest. I'm a little worried about it. Like
I get it.
Like I would have preferred the Chaotix. Like Knuckles with the Chaotix would have been so funny, especially in movie Knuckles with the Chaotix would have been hilarious.
Right.
But I guess they want to. They're definitely pushing to keep these human characters, and it's like. I feel like it's kind of feeling more of like a ball and chain than an actual thing.
I feel like putting the Chaotix in the TV show would have been cool, because it could have been self-contained, where like you don't have to have them in movie 3, but they could have just been in because you know, like obviously they want to avoid throwing too many characters in all at once. That was kind of like a sour point for a lot of people in like the early 2000s. Is that Sonic had like too many friends and they were in everything, and there were, like literally 20 characters. And I do understand that. Like that's why Sega doesn't use all their characters, or Sonic Team doesn't use all of their characters all at once in one game. Like you have to kind of pick and choose.
I agree.
But like for a TV show, you could definitely just pick, you know, just take the Chaotix, put them in there, and then they don't have to be in the next movie. They could just be exclusive to that.
Because they've said that it's gonna tie into movie 3.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was better yet if they were gonna have, you know, if movie 3 is really gonna follow Adventure 2's story. Adventure 2's story has a lot of characters that are not in the movie.
Yeah.
If they have to introduce all these characters in movie 3, it would probably be a Spider-Man 3 situation where it would just be way too drawn out. People would lose it. I think if they use the Knuckles show to introduce like some of those characters, like the Chaotix, like maybe Rouge with Knuckles, like that would save time for that movie
Yeah.
to have to introduce him.
I feel like you definitely need Rouge, especially if you're doing Adventure 2. Because in Adventure 2, I mean, I played Adventure 2 recently. Like, Amy, like, she's kind of, like, I think she'll be in movie 3. But in Adventures 2 plot, she's very, like, oh, I thought, like, she's like, you guys are leaving me behind, right? Whereas Rouge, like, integral with Team Dark. So, yeah, I mean, with the Knuckles show, I agree with you. Like, him working with Wade inherently means the comedy is going to be very, like, Dumb and Dumber almost, right? I do like that inherently Knuckles is very smart, much smart. Knuckles in the movies is more unaware than he is dumb. He is very smart. So, but having him with Wade, yeah, exactly. That's the best way. Oblivious, but he's still very smart and cool.
Right.
Having him training Wade,
Yeah.
Having him work with Wade is like, okay, like, I mean, Wade is a cool, funny character, but I don't know if I want to see him for, you know, 6 episodes.
I feel like what happens is when the main problem I have with it is, as a, you know, I like Wade in the movies. I think he's a really funny character.
Yeah.
But by having him, it's like you lower the scale.
Exactly. 100%.
The show so much. For now Knuckles has to be grounded. Now Knuckles has to be on the level of a human. He can't be, you know. So it's like I really want us to get on that mentality.
I get it. Yeah, no, it's and obviously, you know, we're gonna start movie 3 marketing soon. That's gonna be massive. Whatever they do with movie 3, this is the big one. I really feel like this is the one that I think will cross 500 million box office for sure. Because I think movie 2 was 350 to 400 million. But I think this is where you get to the 500-600 million box office because of Shadow and holiday marketing. It's gonna be huge, and I wonder.
It's kind of like on Christmas, right? It's like the 21st.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge, man. I'm wondering what's like the first. What do you think is the first reveal? Is it Shadow's voice actor? Is it just a teaser trailer in the summer? Like when and what do you think is the first big beat they do here?
It has to be the voice actor reveal, right?
They revealed his hand. Right, and his shoes.
They revealed the shoes, and the hand,
Okay. Ooh, can I mention that real quick? That I feel like a lot of people in the community don't realize this. That is not CGI. That is an actual statue.
Right.
So, so it's which it's gonna have detail, obviously, but yeah, it's definitely gonna look different, probably in motion. But yeah, no, it would probably be a voice actor reveal because that would have to happen relatively soon.
Yeah, what happened with Sonic 2? Did they revealed Idris Elba?
So Sonic movie 2, the marketing beats were that in August, which was 4 months before. No, when did? It was 8 months, right? It was 8 months because I remember they revealed Idris in like August and movie came out in April. So 8 months before movie 2 was Idris Elba saying, knock knock with the glove. That was our first marketing beat. And I feel like that was, correct me if I'm wrong, that was our first time finding out Knuckles was going to be in the movie. Because inherently we all thought, oh, this is going to be Sonic 2. It's going to be Sonic and Tails.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 8 months before movie 2, we got Idris Elba. Then it was a 4-month silence until the Game Awards where we got our first trailer. Right, and it ended, with the Knuckles holding him and pushing him down. Then we had what's the football event? The Super Bowl trailer.
Yeah. So I think I just looked at it. So the one thing that they did was they had a title announcement.
Yes.
Like it was just a logo.
Right.
The logo. I remember.
We got to have that, which that's going to be crazy already because the logo is the closest thing to the game so far.
Yeah, we've seen the red and black, red and blue.
Like, wait, we saw the logo already, right?
Yeah, and whoever made that was cooking, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we didn't see the trailer until December.
Right.
Of 2020.
Yeah, the Game Awards. It was the Game Awards, I remember. Yeah. And then the next one was the big one in February, which is like the sports one.
Super Bowl one.
Yeah. So I think if we're following that schedule, then by March we will have the voice actor reveal,
I think so, yeah.
I think if anything what they might do is like a teaser where you hear him say like I am all like something just to hear it. Because I feel like inherently hearing Shadow is going to be like that could break the internet. So even if they had like a 5-second sound clip where like you just saw the legs walking and he said something, it would like destroy the internet truly.
Right. Definitely.
and I know we've all
Have him yell
thrown our
Maria.
hats. Yeah, Maria. I think we've all have our ideas, whether it's Keanu or Robert Pattinson, or if they somehow got Jason Griffith for it. I don't know. Like, whoever's doing that voice is gonna have to fill, big shoes, and they got to do it right for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I have a feeling it's going to be someone no one was
Really?
thinking of.
I could see
Or
that
at
too.
least someone that, I feel like the obvious ones are Robert Pattinson and Keanu.
Yeah, those are the
I
two.
feel like it's going to be some third option though.
Yeah, like some
Or
random.
people saying for, well, we didn't know Knuckles was in the movie.
Mhm.
Who were people saying for Tails before we knew it was Colleen? Like,
Oh,
who were
yeah,
the big
I don't-
celebrity. It was
I
like
don't.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
that was a joke. That was a joke.
Well,
I
because
don't
we
know,
had
man.
heard
Well,
Tails.
some people were curious about it.
Yeah, we had heard Tails' voice at the teaser movie one. We just didn't know if they were gonna keep that voice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like with Shadow, like you just have to get someone gruff. That really is like what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
I want a deep shadow.
Or do you think they'll get Kirk Thornton, who's the current voice
Please
actor?
no. I don't want that. I don't want
I'm
that.
so sorry, bro. Dude,
It could
I
be a voice.
can't-
Yeah, it could be a voice direction thing with him. Like how in Frontiers, then how in the older games the characters just had bad voice directions. Like I don't know if in the next Sonic game he'll sound better, but even in the takeovers, it comes off too much like someone trying to do an edgy voice.
Like a sinister, evil.
Yeah, like,
evil.
I can't
he sounds like
believe you.
Stewie from
Yeah.
Family Guy. Like, it
it's
doesn't matter.
it's way too like me
yeah.
trying to do a fake voice. Yeah, like I can't believe you would say this, Sonic. It's literally like that, bar for bar.
I would
Yeah.
take to your voice.
Yeah, it's like, they need someone crazy. And I also think, to be fair, I even think like money wise, I think with Shadow, like you need to have a big voice. Like the news of like Keanu Reeves is voicing Shadow inherently will get eyes
It'd be
popping.
huge.
Yeah.
I think Shadow's too big of a character to not get a celebrity
Exactly.
voice actor.
Exactly. Tails, you could get away with it because like he's just a funny
Tails,
side
kind of.
voice.
But like, I still think the fact that Colleen was Tails is still a miracle. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely, because Tails is still a pretty big character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think comparing Tails to Shadow, like Shadow is he's gonna sell seats. Like just him
Absolutely.
alone being in the movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I don't even want to imagine like the first teaser trailer. What's that gonna do? I can't wait, man.
I know it's gonna be so cool.
There's so many marketing beats I'm so excited for. Like the first poster, the first trailer really is gonna be insane. I'm just so curious what they're gonna do. Is this gonna because we haven't actually gotten a fight between like in the games at least. I know it was in the anime. It might have been X. Like I haven't seen a Super Sonic versus Super Shadow fight. I don't know if they're gonna go crazy like that. I don't do you do something like Bio Lizard in this? Because I mean, it is kind of integral because that's what Shadow was gonna be. So I feel like they have to at least show it. So he's
Right,
grossed
I don't
out.
know what they would do. The only thing I can think of is they're gonna somehow like try to incorporate Metal Sonic, and he's gonna be like the bad
Right,
guy.
right.
I gotta be honest. I
He's
feel
the
like,
other character everyone
I feel like
wants.
Metal
Mhm.
Sonic would be great for a TV series after the movie
Right.
because it's kind of like the Heroes thing. But like, I don't want them to introduce like two villains in one thing because Shadow's gonna be the villain for the three.
Yeah.
Of the movie. Period.
Because
But,
they,
like,
they
I
said it,
think,
right? Shadow's not like Knuckles. They said like he's not gonna be something Sonic. It's just gonna be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they nailed it. That was a while ago, but they said like, well, Knuckles is his villain because of being misled by Robotnik.
Yeah.
Shadow is his villain because of revenge.
Yeah.
Like because of like actual which tells me they're probably gonna go the Maria route, which I gotta know how they're gonna do that.
I know.
But outside of that though, I think what I would like them to do for this story is expand upon the whole Gerald Robotnik creating Shadow, because
Right.
I know with the fan Shadow thing they did,
Mhm.
which is pretty close to the lore that's not really shown much in the
Yeah.
games, is him studying
Him-
the echidnas,
yeah.
and the hedgehog.
Mhm.
So I think that I would like them to lean into that and make that connection with the Echidna tribe maybe, and that includes Knuckles, and then from there, I think that'd be great. I think
Yeah.
that'd be a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, whatever they do, I think it's an important movie for sure. It's a big one. It's an
You need
important
to
one.
escape out of it.
Yeah, they
Escape
need
is a requirement.
City Escape. I agree. That's like a factual requirement, and I don't know how you can't do it really. Like, at least some reference to it, something with it. Like you have to, man. Like that alone would make that also alone sells tickets. If you see the teaser trailer of him like falling down the plane,
City Escape and Live and Learn, I think, are like the 2 requirements.
Yeah.
And, the soundtrack. Hold on.
Of course, yeah.
That needs to have. I'm very frustrated with how they've handled the music in the game, in the where they treat it more like Easter eggs. It's like you can be a bit more on the nose about it. I think people would appreciate it. It doesn't have to be through the same song, but like remix it or
like
something.
Mario movie proved you can have like game music orchestrated like and done so well. I think they could totally do it, man. But I think what was I gonna say with this? That like with movie 3, it's gonna be a big thing. Yeah, if they nail the music and just it's gonna be hype for sure. I can't wait to see what they do, man. But yeah, no, that's stuff. Is there something else in terms of media that Sonic's missing? Because I know we have concerts, we have movies, we have shows. Like, is there something they could be doing? An audiobook, finally. That's what I want, the audiobook of Sonic. I know IDW is still going on, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's going to go on for. I don't know if they have like an end goal for it, if it's like endless.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if they're treating it like Archie and it's just going to go until it's not.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. It's it's really interesting. I'm very, very curious to see where they go with this series, because I feel like we are really in the best time we've ever been. We're in the time where like there's still flaws with things, but you can tell things have effort, and things
they have effort, and it's a huge improvement.
Absolutely.
We're on such a good
we gotta
path
take one
now.
step at a time.
Yeah. I'm very happy. Like I think that's the big thing is like it's fun. It's nice to be excited for the next thing and not like dreading it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
If it's gonna be good or not.
Yeah. It's a really good feeling. But yeah, so okay, let's say, if we were to look back at this, I want this, right? Let's do everyone here 3 predictions of something that'll happen in 2024. That way we can look back, right? Each of us give 3 predictions of something you think will happen in 2024. All right? Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, you go. Sam.
I'm gonna kind of trailblaze it. I'm just gonna go off the noggin. I think the first thing is a major game, not a major game, but a game tied with the marketing of the movie.
Okay.
Sega would have to be, because it's the last major movie so far. Because we know it's gonna be a trilogy. Yeah. There's no guarantee of another movie after this, or so. Whether that be something like Frontiers or something like Shadow, 100%. That's gonna have to happen. I would like. Oh man, this is so hard. I don't want to give a cop out thing like the symphony.
Yeah.
I would just say maybe a new show of some kind.
Okay.
Outside of Knuckles.
Okay.
I would say maybe Prime could. Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm not even gonna say that anymore. I just think the Knuckles show. I think it's gonna be something interesting.
Okay.
I don't know how it's gonna be.
Okay.
Outside of a game and show,
There
it's
you
like
go.
I'm actually having trouble putting the third one. I would say maybe probably some sort of like online series.
Okay.
Like some sort of mini one that they make, whether it be for Power or something. I think that'd be a smart idea. If they don't want to go all out with their own show.
Right. Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Chaomix, you have 3?
All right. Yeah. I think we're going to get some kind of 2D modern Sonic game.
Okay.
And that could be maybe like an app. It could be like a hand.
Okay.
Well, you don't really have hand. Like a Switch game.
Yeah.
Something like lower skill.
Right.
But I think like we'll get something 2D and it'll be modern Sonic.
Okay.
Because I feel like they've done classic Sonic in 2D, and I think kind of like me, where I'm realizing that like classic Sonic is a bit limiting if you kind of just stick to his basic moveset.
Yeah.
Like branching out to modern Sonic might like open more doors for like cool gameplay. So like maybe they'll experiment with modern Sonic 2D gameplay. So that's one thing.
Okay.
I think there's definitely got to be something Shadow related.
Yeah.
Whether that be his own game, or something else. And then I think like there has to be something Sonic Adventure 2 related as well.
Okay.
That's the third thing. Whether it be a remake or a port or a remaster, like that's the namesake of like the next movie. You got to have something, because if today, imagine you're like, you know, a little kid and you're interested in Sonic Movie 3 and you want to like play the game it was inspired off.
Yeah.
Like, where can you do that?
Yeah, exactly. You have to go on Steam.
PC, but it's like broken, right? And it's not accessible.
Exactly.
You know, like that's the main point. It's not accessible. It's on Steam, but it's like a not amazing port.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's also like from 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
Like it's old.
Yeah.
So like, there's no current day way to play Sonic Adventure 2 really. So I think they'll somehow bring it more accessible to people.
Okay.
So that's my third thing.
Can I change my answer?
Sure. What do you got?
So obviously I said Shadow, and then a mini show thing. I think one thing we forgot, because this is actually recent news. They confirmed that they're going to be making more mobile games.
Yeah, that's true.
With Rovio, when they bought Rovio, I would say
Maybe
if they were going to be smart,
modern Sonic 2D
a Chao mobile game.
Okay.
That's what I would love.
Yeah.
I don't think so though. I just don't think so.
Really?
They hate the Chao. They just don't like them.
They're
just not coming back.
It is so weird because, like, especially like you literally have Izuka in interviews being like, "Yeah, what's the most popular thing you guys get asked?" Like, Chao Garden, and it's like,
are you ever
going to
do it?
Back?
No.
And it's like, I wonder, is like, do they not do it because it has to be with Adventure 2? Or do they not do it because they don't know how to handle it? Like, it's like, I feel like it's one or I don't know what it is, because like it's
I'm
like,
gonna be completely honest with you.
Maybe they're waiting to pair it with an adventure game.
That's
can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
This is I legit think at this point it has to be an ego thing. It's not a business thing.
Really?
If it's a business thing, it would have happened. I legit think someone in there just doesn't like them, and they just don't want them. Like, it's just like, how do you
I get that. See, I was like, for me, I was like the opposite. I'm like, I feel like if movie 3, right, introduces Chao, that's such like an easy toy, like to have on shelves, like little Chaos. Right. You know, I would rather, you know, Chaos be in stores.
Do you think movie 3 will have Chao?
I think movie 3 will. You know what? That's one of my predictions. Is movie 3 will introduce the Chao as the cute little thing that, you know, becomes one of the marketing things for the little Timmies. I think that's one of my predictions for sure. Movie 3 will have the Chao. So I think that's one of my things. I think, well, I'll say movie 3 will have a Chao. There will be a Shadow game, whether it's like a Sonic and Shadow game or a game involving Shadow. And my third one is I think we will see another genre, like a Murder of Sonic, but like another genre spin-off Sonic game.
Right. That would be cool.
Yeah. Like, again, I know we've said all this. I do think there's a world where next year it's just remasters, you know. I think they might have blown their, like, I think maybe this year, last year was, you know, we have had 2D, 3D.
They can't keep doing it. They can't keep doing 2023 where it's like, oh, we're done. And then they bring out like 5 more things. Like, there has to be a rest point somewhere.
I agree. And again, but like,
we're unanimous on the Shadow thing too.
Yeah, I think we are unanimous on the Shadow.
They have to.
Something Shadow like will be released, like something that has Shadow.
Too big of a character.
Yeah.
To make an entire movie
Shadow
about it.
Dating Simulator. Something.
Exactly. Yeah. Literally. Even if the Murder of Sonic has to just make a visual novel that's just Shadow, like something Shadow, 100%, man. But yeah, no, next year is gonna be very fun. We're in a good place, and I think that's everything. So guys, thank you for joining me. Well, I'm sure we'll return to this adventure. I hope next year is crazy for all of us. If you would like to give your beats, go ahead, Mr. Chaomix. Tell them where to find you.
I have a YouTube channel, but like, who cares about that? I'm making a video game.
Yes, sir.
It's called Star Garden.
Looks
you can follow
good.
us at Game Garage LLC on X.com and Twitter, whatever you call it. And we're gonna be posting updates throughout next year.
I can't wait.
Next year's gonna be like, we're
big
gonna
work
show
for
off
you.
some
Big
stuff.
work for you. Perfect. All right, Sam.
I mean, hopefully you guys know me. If not, name's Sam Procrastinates. I also have a YouTube channel. I'm not making a video game though, but I do have a YouTube channel. Plan on doing a lot more streams. Maybe have more collabs with Fidel. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, no, I got a lot of stuff planned. So come stop by, and it'd be great to have you.
Perfect. All right, and of course, if you're watching this, you most likely know who I am. So I will shut up. So guys, thank y'all for watching. You're the best. And of course, let me know in the comments below what you're most excited for the future. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.